Hello everybody, welcome to or back to my channel. I decided that I wanted to do a little end of year TBR just to kind of give myself a list and you a list of hopefully the books that I will be finishing before the year is over. So I have it on my phone and we're just gonna run through it. I think it's like 10 or 11 books. And I just kind of want to close out some series, maybe start some, kind of catch up on some of the BookBox books that I have, just pretty much all of the goals that I've been having for the year of reading I want to continue with, but I like to set a list of things, so that is what we're gonna do. So first up, I really want to read Wild Reverence. This is a sort of prequel to Divine Rivals and Ruthless Vows. I really enjoyed those books. I liked them together separately. They are not my favorite of all time, but I do kind of want to reread them because I think upon reading the second of Ruthless Vows, I think I would like them both more, reading them closer together. There are gods in that world. It's kind of like a historical fiction and there's a war going on and it feels very World War I or World War II-esque, but there are gods and it is the gods that are actually warring. And so in this prequel-ish, again, I don't know how attached it is to the second and third book, I guess now that would be in the world. We're following the gods in this one, or at least one god. There's more gods involved, that's all I know. And I don't want to know too much more going into this. I'm just excited to try it out and see. I really enjoy this author's writing, so I also own, I think I own physically one more book, and it is her adult duology that I want to read, so we will see how I hopefully feel about Wild Reverence this year. Then I am going to be doing a reread of Quicksilver. This is a fantasy romance that I think came out last year, question mark, perhaps the year before, I'm not really sure, but it is a very fun, very silly, goofy time. It's not a very serious one. It is this girl who lives in a world that is separated into like different classes, and she lives in the worst part of this kingdom, and one day she steals a gauntlet from a guard, is running away, basically gets caught up gets her brother caught up in an issue with the guards, and then she ends up finding out that fae are a thing. And I can't really remember how much more detail the synopsis goes into, so I won't go into too much more detail, but I have started my reread of this because the sequel Brimstone comes out in November and I am having a good time. And I did not remember pretty much anything about the beginning of this book, and I don't really remember a whole lot about the end either. I do remember the middle for some reason, so I'm excited to keep going with it. I think that again, I'm gonna just like it. Next, in the vein of fantasy romance, I want to read The Night and the Moth. I was not the biggest fan of One Dark Window, and I did DNF Two Twisted Crowns, so we'll see. I'm convinced that this will be the one for me, but I do that with a lot of books and then it does not turn out to be true. So we'll have to see if it becomes reality or not. But I don't know anything about this. I just know that there is a gargoyle involved and that's pretty much it. That's all I know about this book, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I will say the one thing that I did really like about One Dark Window was the writing. I really liked the writing and the ambiance and just the overall vibes that the books had. So if that is in here, which I assume it would be, the writing style that is, I think that I have a good shot. I don't know. A lot of people have loved it. I have a copy from Fairy Loot. I'm like, I might as well read it. So here is hoping. Then I would really like to start catching up on some series. So I have Amari and the Great Game. My stretch goal would be that I also read the third book, but I understand that that's probably not very realistic. And I don't want to make this list too long. But Amari and the Night Brothers is the first book, and this is a middle grade series. What happens is Amari, our main character, finds out that her brother is missing, and one day she goes into the closet and finds a suitcase, and essentially she finds out that her brother is in like a magical FBI, basically, and she then goes to the same school training thing that he went to and is trying to find him, figure out what's going on. There's also some weird stuff going on in the school, so she's kind of taking on all these different investigations, making friends, making enemies, all of the things, and it's a really fun series. I really, really like it. I have read the first book 2 or 3 times at this point because I really do enjoy it. I just have not continued on with the series for whatever reason, so I really want to do that. Then I have Isabel Cañas's latest book, The Possession of Alba Diaz, and I am so excited for this one. Of course, because this is one of my auto-buy authors and a highly anticipated read, I know nothing about it. I just know that she writes such good gothic romance and I am super excited for it. It is definitely gothic horror, and her books always have a bigger romance plot line. Whether that's like the main plot or subplot kind of differs, but I really enjoy that about her books, so I think that this is also going to be a really fun one to read this season. Then I have another Fairy Loot book that I got, and that is A Dance of Lies. I know nothing about this one. That's a running theme. I really don't like to know a lot about my books before going in. I feel like y'all already know this. We talk about it all the time. But this one is, I believe, another fantasy romance, and because it came from Fairy Loot, there's a good chance I'm gonna like it. Although lately I have not been absolutely loving their picks, so I'll be interested to see what my thoughts are about it. But I have a beautiful edition of it, so I'm definitely going to give it a shot because I own it, so why not? And I have seen great things about it, so I think I'm going to say that I'm going to like it. And I hope that that becomes true. Then we're going to go back to series, and I really want to read Torch Against the Night. I have the whole series right here. I want to read them all. I don't know if I can do that all by the end of the year. That would be a really good goal. I don't know if it's one I'll meet, but I do really want to continue on with the series. I read Ember in the Ashes when it first came out. I read it again lately, like within the last few months, and enjoyed it again, and so I really want to continue on. I liked it so much more than I remembered liking it. It's just a really solid YA fantasy, so I want to continue on, see what everyone is crying about in the last book because it is a lot and I'm intrigued. Plus, she has, I don't know if it's a duology or more, but there's a spin-off happening and I can't read it until I finish this. So obviously I gotta make that happen. And then I think it's time that I go back and hang out with Miss Veronica Speedwell some more. So An Unexpected Peril is on the list. This is book 6. I'm looking at them on my shelf. I think it's book 6 of this series, and I really love it. This one is like a Victorian mystery series, and there is a mystery that goes throughout all of the books. Kind of. There's like a little plot going on, but they all tend to follow this mystery each book, and it's her and her companion Stoker, and they're just kind of going around Victorian England solving all the things, and it's a very cozy, comforting series to me, so I just want to get back. There's a lot of books in it now that I have not read so far. I think I have this year 3, and then I think another one comes out next year, so I'll have 4 books. Well, technically 5, but Unexpected Peril I'm gonna read. I'm telling myself this, like it's gonna happen. And then I think the book that comes after this, I think it's a duology, maybe a trilogy, but I think a duology. To Gaze Upon Wicked Gods. This one, I just saw someone else read it, and I remember someone reading it when it first came out that I am pledged to on Patreon, and I really was intrigued by their review. So I want to read this one. I think the sequel's coming out this coming year, I want to say. So that's good timing. I got it in a book box. I cannot remember which book box that was. It was either Illumicrate or Fairy Loot. So either way, I have a copy and I want to read it. I want to see what it's all about. I also have her next book I think it's The Nightblood Prince from a book box too, so I also want to read that one too. But I feel like I need to read her books in order. I don't know why. I don't even think they're related at all, but because she has a number that is attainable for me to read in order, I want to do that. So that is why this one is on the list. Also, I'm trying to read down the series that I own because it is quite a few. And then finally, rounding off our little list, plus it is a series, well, it's a duology, but there's a spin-off happening. I want to read Our Violent Ends. If Mel is watching, please keep me accountable to this, because I really loved Our Violent, or yeah, was it Our Violent Delights? These Violent Delights? I always mix up the first word. These Violent Delights, Our Violent Ends. Yes. I really liked These Violent Delights. It is a like horror mystery historical book. Is YA. It's set in 1930s ? Shanghai. And it's two rival gangs in our fair Verona. And one of them is, well, they're both our main characters, is like the, not the lead, but the heir to each gang is our main character. And they, of course, are our Romeo and our Juliet. And they are in love, but now they are enemies. So they have to get together crime solving wise. Well, not really crime solving, but they have to team back up to solve this horrific, weird thing that is going around. It's like this disease that's happening, but it's got such a horror spin to it that that's why I say it's kind of like a horror mystery historical combination of all. And I really love it. The writing is so great. The characters are so fun. I love them all. I love like the politics of the gangs and everything because it's so much happening in the city at this time. And it really, the very beginning chapter is just so good. I highly recommend even just sampling it because it will pull you in. It reminds me so much of one of my favorite series of all time, which is The Diviners by Libba Bray. The very beginning of that first book is a prologue of a seance and a Ouija board session happening at a party in the 1920s in New York, I believe. And it just shows a spirit coming through the board, and it's the spirit that's like haunting New York at that time. And then in this one, it's set in Shanghai, and there are workers that are out at a dock, and then this monster just erupts from the river, and it's what is basically going to be our antagonist for the book. And it is so creepy and horrific, and I loved it so much. Like, it just absolutely pulled me into the book right away. So I highly recommend it, and I really want to finish the sequel so that I can then move on to the spin-off series, because I've heard that that is also very, very good. And I love this author's writing a lot, so I just want to get more into it. I want to get back into it. I'm kind of over new releases for the moment, which I feel like is clear on this list. Like, I really want to read the books that I own first and foremost, but also just kind of finish off some series, finish off the sequels that I have on my shelves, and hopefully we are gonna do that. So let me know what you plan on reading for the end of the year. I wanted to keep my list attainable. This could possibly be the only books that I read for the rest of the year. We'll have to see. But yes, thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a great day. Make sure you drink your water, stay hydrated, be kind, lead with empathy, and go have a good day on purpose because you deserve it. And I will catch you in the next video. Bye!
Oh, the good times just begun. Oh, we know what we have, let's hold on tight.